Number one is this: physical beauty is totally overrated, especially in our culture. You know that we Bostonian Americans are obsessed with physical appearance, faddishness, flashiness, attractiveness, fitness, hipness, coolness. There's something in us that longs to appear better than the next person beside us. You know that there is no end to the number of products and infomercials and magazines and stores at the mall and literally entire industries that exist for one purpose: to feed our insatiable appetite for looking good. The outside matters a ton to us. We could go through 1,000 examples. I came across a fascinating one. Anybody ever heard of the University of Oregon? Am I saying that right? How do you say that? Oregon? Oregon. In the last 5 or 7 years, their athletics department has been amazing. Out of nowhere. No one ever heard of the University of Oregon's Mighty Ducks before, and suddenly they're in national championships and Final Fours. Everyone's wondering what happened. I read an article about what happened this week. You know what it was? One of the co-owners or founders of Nike is very involved in the school in some way up there in Oregon. I'm saying Oregon, deal with it. Nike said, will you let us come in and experiment with the way that your players are going to look, your uniforms, the fields, the courts? And overnight, the University of Oregon became the place to be for 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old recruits. You know why? Not because of the history of the school, not because of the success of the sports program, because you looked good being an Oregon Duck. They would see the uniforms. They would recruit them based on the way that they would appear. Literally changed the face of the school. Do you feel the power, even among young men who just want to run into stuff, of looking better than the next person? And this is not just true outside of the church. It is true inside of the church. It is true of the church planting network that we are a part of. When I spoke at the New England Regional Church Planting for Acts 29 a couple of years ago, they asked me, Cruz, what would you want to talk about if you were going to speak at this event? Right away I said 2 things. Let me talk either about envy or about vanity, or both. They let me do envy. They haven't let me do vanity yet, but I'm waiting for the day. Vanity is an issue. Young, hip, cool American church planters care way too much what they look like. My family makes fun of me for always wearing the same jeans and the same Zooms that my mom bought me for Christmas 2 years ago, and the same gray shirt week after week after week. And I told them, no, it's 2 gray shirts. Pay attention. One is dark gray and one is light gray. Why do I minimize my wardrobe? Because vanity appeals to my fallen heart, and I don't want to go there. One of the countless idols that we wrestle with is to find our worth, our value, our hope, our salvation in how we look. Scripture is very helpful here because it knows about this tendency in your heart. And it reminds us over and over again, God does not really care what you look like on the outside. No one says this more beautifully and clearly than Jesus' apostle Peter. He is writing in his letter specifically to Christian women who were being tempted by prevailing culture to obsess with their physical appearance. And this is what he said. It's beautiful. Don't let your adorning be external. The braiding of hair, the putting on of gold jewelry, the clothing that you wear. But instead, let your adorning be the hidden person of the heart with the imperishable beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which in God's sight is very precious. Oof. So you feel that? God sees in here the heart, the spirit. Make that beautiful. Invest time and money and energy in there. Have that be the next store that we open at the mall. Holiness in the heart. Now, Peter is not issuing a legalistic mandate, right? You look beautiful this morning. And that's a good thing. We'll talk about that in a second. He is not saying, do not ever do some fun stuff with your hair. If I had hair, it would be out to here. Don't accessorize. Don't not ever accessorize with some jewelry. If you read it literally like that, you would go, you can't wear clothes. Look, he says the clothing that you wear. So he is not saying that you should rock a muumuu and Walmart flip-flops 24/7. That's not what it means to be Christian in appearance. The point is this, that physical beauty is totally overrated.